guys, this is Megan with the Asian American Native American Pacific Islander Serving Institution program here at Richland College, or ANAPZ for short. I'm sure a lot of you are a little concerned or maybe anxious about what classes you need to take in your very first semester, so I wanted to give you a quick guide of how to look at the core curriculum or the core classes. If you go to Richland's homepage, in the search box, type core classes and hit enter. The very first option will say Core Curriculum, Richland College. We want to choose that. And then we want to take this hyperlink, the underlined core curriculum right here, and it's going to take us to the list. So core or core curriculum, whatever you hear it being called, these are the required classes for all students who are trying to get an associate's degree and then move on to a bachelor's degree in the state of Texas. So regardless of what your actual major is, every student will have the same basic knowledge understanding because you all take the core classes. So the items on the left are more for advising so that we know whether or not you're meeting the Texas Higher Education Board rules. And then the middle section is the actual classes that you'd start looking for. This page is a little bit confusing, but each core section is a different color. So you have white here for communication, then it goes to blue, gray for math, and then alternates. So you can kind of look at the color to make sure you're following what you need to be following. So at the top we have communication, where you have to take English 1301 and English 1302 because it says select each of the following and you end up with 6 credit hours at the end. The trick for the credit hours is the second number in the class code tells you what number of credit hours. So almost everything will be a 3. Every once in a while, you might see a 4 in a math or a science class. For math, every student is required to take a math class. This is really important depending on what your career path is. Certain career paths require you to take algebra and move on to upper level calculus and such. Other classes just need statistics. So you'll really want to talk to your advisor to make sure that you know what your career path is so that you take the right math. For the life and physical sciences, you have to take 2. So you get to pick from any of these classes here for the sciences. Typically, they are going to go in numerical order. So you can't just jump right to 1411. You need to take the other classes before it because they are going to get progressively harder and build upon each other the further into the numbering system that you get. And you can click on the class, the blue hyperlink, for example, ENVR, which is environmental science, and it will give you a description. So it tells you the name in purple and then a description, a very brief description of what the class is about. And that way you can get an idea if you're not following a science major where you have to have specific biologies or chemistry or physics to get your degree, but you're doing a different program where you can take any 2 science classes just so that you get the core curriculum completed, then you do have options of taking maybe geology or an anthropology class. You do want to take note of this, that certain things of combinations that they have listed here are a big no. If you do these, they do not count for your 2 science classes. So you want to be focusing on what's up here and just making sure that you're not doing the combinations listed here. Again, it's always important to talk to your advisors before you register to make sure that nothing has changed, and we can guide you to make sure that you're not following the wrong set of combinations. Language, philosophy, and culture, you select one of the following. So you have English options. Typically, these are going to be different literature classes. This is British literature, so you will be doing a lot of reading and writing in these classes. You have HUMA, which is humanities. You have options for Introduction to Humanities, more specific like Mexican American or Mexican American Fine Art classes. And these are not always going to be offered every semester. So just because you're interested in it, it may not be an option. So you might have to end up taking your option B, option C, option D, being flexible. You have philosophy classes. And then this is always tricky to students. it says foreign language, which is one of the options for language, philosophy, culture. However, when you actually look at the class, it starts with a 2. It's a 2000 level class, which means that it is actually the 3rd and 4th semester of this language. So you would have already needed to do the 1st and 2nd semesters before you could even get into this particular class that's listed here to count for the language, philosophy, and culture. If you took, or if you're proficient in a class, you took a foreign language and you did the CLEP test, then you might be able to get into the higher level, but that's something you can talk to your advisor about if it's even an option that you want to pursue. Creative arts, you select one of the following. So there's art, there's dance, there's drama, humanities, music. You don't have to be gifted in the music or in the arts. You're not actually going to be dancing or making music or playing an instrument. These are going to be more of historical background, reading. There's going to be writing involved in these classes. So whichever one of these seems more interesting to you to learn about, you don't have to be creative and have the actual artistic talent. American history, everyone has to take 1301, and then you have to pick one of these 4 options as well, because you do need 6 credit hours. So you need 2 history classes. The same with government, you take 2305 and 2306. For social and behavioral sciences, you pick one of the following from here. So you do have various options, and this could be dependent on your major. For example, some transfer universities for the School of Business or Accounting or Finance, they want economic classes. So you might want to take an economics class. If you're doing health or for a medical field, this is nutrition. So it does not count for your science requirement, but it does count for your behavioral sciences. Other history classes, some psychology classes, sociology. So you can click on all of these and kind of figure out what interests you and what fits into the degree plan that you're trying to pursue. The final option always seems confusing with the way that it's created. So you have option A, where you take a speech or a sign language class, plus you have to have this 1 credit hour PE class because you need 4 credit hours for this. And the speech classes have the second number is a 3, so that's not enough credit hours, so you have to have this PE class that's a 1 credit hour as well. Or you take option B, which is the actual first semester or second semester of a foreign language. So if you do want to take a foreign language, you can, if it's offered. Typically, they're going to be the first classes in the fall and the second classes in the spring. And so you can pick one of these, and it's going to count for this component area number 90, but not for the foreign language that was above us, which is going to be the 3rd and 4th semester. So this gives you some things that you can start looking at and kind of making a plan of maybe you want to take English. Maybe you want to go ahead and take your creative arts and do your humanities or do your history or your government. We recommend that you do your sciences right away, especially if you're pursuing a science-based degree. And then for math, all students need to have done their math within their first year. So the earlier you can get math done, the better off you will be. I recommend that you talk to us or an advising office so we can make sure that you take the correct math depending on your career path. All of these blue hyperlinks will give you details on the class, so bookmark this so that you can always get to it whenever you have questions, and then just start clicking on the classes and writing down which ones sound interesting to you so that you know for the future, and then you can go and start planning out your schedule. If you have any questions, you can email us at rlcaanapisi@dcccd.edu.